and welcome to the CHES 2019 Rump session, which Daniel and I will be hopefully guiding you through a very nice program. And if you're interested in this program, you can find it online. There's a reason that it's not on the slides, and that is that we could still easily update it until the pretty much very last minute. Now, for all of you who submitted talks to the Rump session, the most important piece of information in this program is when your talk is, and then please be here. For everybody who did not submit a talk, the most important piece of information is that there is a break, and that after the break, all drinks you'll have to pay for. So we carefully scheduled the break so that you can grab another drink in the break so that you can get through the last bit of the program. Now, before I hand over the microphone to the program chairs to say a little bit about the process of selecting the very nice scientific program of this conference, as always, in a Rump session, we don't have time for questions, right? But most of the questions really are more like comments anyway, aren't they? So if you'd like to comment, like thankfully somebody already does, then here are the instructions. You connect your laptop or mobile phone or tablet to the Wi-Fi network West In meeting, which probably you've done anyway already. You open a browser and you browse to 10.10.1.135 at port 8888. And you will see a very, very simple interface with a text input field and a button. And if you input text there and you click the button, it will be shown above the slides, visible for the speaker and visible for, well, all of the audience. So with this, I would very much like to hand over to the program chairs, except that I don't yet see the program chairs. So there's one at least. So I guess I'll just hand over to him then, and he can maybe begin and talk through this. So please, here you go. That's your microphone there. Okay, perfect.
Good evening, everyone. So thank you, Peter and Dan, for chairing the Rump session. So we would like to thank a lot of people. So first of all the people that submit, and we receive, in fact, 214 submissions. So we would like to thank all the reviewers and sub-reviewers that we use to review all of this paper. Also, all the general chair, so Patrick, Vincent, and Yusei, for, I think, general chairing such a conference is not a relaxed life, because you have to change a lot of things at the last moment. And yes, also to thank Dan and Peter, Shaheen also for chairing the poster session, Peter also for supporting us for the website issues, and Tim Guniezu also for publishing the paper. So I would like to present you how we decide the PC committee. So we get, in fact, 60 different members. And we try, in fact, to have a good balance between academia and industry people. But it's not the first constraint. So the second constraint is that we would like to have a lot of different women in the committee. And we try to have 10 out of 60, so we think it's a good ratio. So the third constraint is to have a large number of countries to represent. So we try, in fact, to have different countries. So the first one is the US, then a lot of countries in Europe, and we would like also to have to represent all the countries where side channel attack are presented. So, as I told you, we receive 214 submissions. We accept 42, so the acceptance rate is around 20. And yes, so for the first issue, we get, in fact, we reject, in fact, for all the issue, half of the paper. We put in major revision one quarter, and another quarter were accepted. So the acceptance rate is were about 14 and 24 for the different issue. So the last fact is that we, in fact, have a major revision. So maybe it's important for you to have a major revision. And so we try, in fact, to get you as much as a remark to improve the paper. And in fact, we, have a very good ratio, we think, because we have not too much paper in major revision, and we accept half of them. So we also reject half. So the good question is, when is a good time to submit paper? So as you see, maybe you see that it's not a good idea to submit for the last issue of CHES, because we always receive a lot of submission, and maybe also the reviewers are a little bit tired or angry, and so they decide to reject your paper. But if we have also to take care, maybe the second issue also, it's very special this year. And so François-Xavier also received 4 accepted papers during the second issue. So maybe the algorithm will be a little bit different. If you have François-Xavier as a quota, maybe you have to submit during the second issue. Otherwise, maybe you have to wait for issue 1 or 3. So that's our advice. So the second question is where you have to submit. So as you expect, a lot of countries in Europe and US receive a lot of accepted paper. And so maybe you have to move to such country if you have to accept your paper. So another statistic is that maybe you can think that there is a bias between the number of PC for each country and the number of accepted paper. I think you can see there is a strong correlation between these two numbers, and it represents the fact that there is a strong community in this country, and so that's the reason why also the number of accepted paper is high. And maybe also the one question that you can ask is, do I have to accept to be a member of the PC? So here is a statistic between the number of accepted paper by a member of the committee, and you can see that there is only 1/4 of the paper. So there is a negative bias, and so maybe the advice is not to be in the PC. So that's all that we have to say. So the last thing is that the steering committee of CHES is also beginning a test of time award, as it's the case for a lot of different conferences in the ICR. And so we want to promote best papers that have a high impact on the community. So there will be a committee. Now it's not exactly set, but there will be around 5 members. And it will elect, in fact, one paper that has been appeared 15 years before the current CHES conference. So there will be a specific call for each year to propose an article, and everyone can submit one of them. Thank you.
Now we give the stage to Stefan, who is going to give some awards on behalf of the steering committee, and we will get off the stage.
Okay, so before the actual Rump session starts, I would like to also say some words from the steering committee point of view. So I would like to say thanks to the organizers on behalf of the ICR and on behalf of the steering committee, because I mean, you have great food, you have a great program. This is a lot of work by the chairs, and so I would like to ask the chairs to come to the stage. So I don't know if the general chairs are here, the program chairs, please come to the stage. So we make some space for them. So. All right, so as you know, the CHES conference is an IECR area conference, and I'm, up till this conference, I've been the chair of the steering committee, so and this is one of my last things to do, so I'm, on behalf of the steering committee, I'm handing over, and on behalf of the IECR, I'm handing over some certificates to our chairs. So I'm starting with the general chairs, so I have one for Vincent Mooney, and it reads, so the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Vincent J. Mooney for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as General Chair of CHES 2019. Thanks, Vincent. Thank you. So I have a bunch of certificates, so I will not read every certificate in full detail. So we have another general chair here. So we have, this year we had 3 co-chairs actually. So the next certificate is for Patrick Chamont, who also supported the team. And we have the 3rd general chair, which was Yun-Se Fei. So thanks a lot for your contribution. So the general chairs really had several issues this year. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but so there was a last-minute change of the hotel. So this happened three weeks or something like that ago. So they organized all the conference for a different hotel, and then 3 weeks ago the hotel had to be changed, and so they had a, yeah, let's say very workful sleepless nights during the last 3 weeks. So a big applause for the general chairs again. And then we get to the program chairs. So the program chairs, so you know we switched to the journal model. We have now 4 deadlines, which means 4 times during the year the program chairs have a peak in work, and the work never stops. So as a program chair, you meanwhile have to work throughout the entire year. So it's a very big effort, and so thanks also to the program chairs for their work. So then we also have certificates for the program chairs. So I'm starting with Jorge, so as this is now a different certificate, I read also again the first one. So the International Association for Cryptologic Research gratefully acknowledges Jorge Gerardo for his contribution to the worldwide community on cryptographic hardware and embedded systems through his role as Program Chair of CHES 2019. Thank you. All right, so we have a second program chair. The co-chair was Pierre-Alain Fouque. And so also thanks for the contribution of Pierre-Alain for being program chair 2019. Thanks a lot. All right, so this was it. So I think thanks again, a big applause for the whole team.
So now Benedict, the new head of the steering committee, want to make some announcements?
Hi. So as we're giving thanks to people who did a great job for the community and for CHES, I'm taking over the role as chair of the steering committee from Stefan, who has been doing this for the last 9 years, I believe. 9 conferences. A long time, Stefan has kind of steered this ship and made sure that everything goes smooth, and that deserves a big applause as well. So.
All right, so our first speaker is Emanuele Casilla, who is going to present open security keys. Yep, go.
Good evening. So I think everybody saw this little hardware device in your bag. Isn't it awesome that...
You missed the big hardware device that you used to point.
Okay, cool. Isn't it awesome that you can have a free USB dongle?
You hold it this way.
Super easy, right? So I guess In general, I would agree with you, right? Getting a device from a security conference is not really the best. But in this specific case, this is a security key called Solo, and this is completely open source. Both hardware and software are available on GitHub, and the design is pretty minimal. It's just a microcontroller, a button, an LED, and a bunch of resistor and capacitor, so you can probably verify visually the design. So for the curious people, this is the micro that we are using, an STM32L4. And in particular, only two things I want to mention. One is the true random generation for the so-called master secret. And we use the readout protection level 2 of the STM. So in no way we claim any security against physical attack. In our world, it's sufficient to resist against online attacks, and so that's our claim so far. So, but what can you use the key for? So this is a security key. It implements the newest standard called FIDO2, and you can use it right away with Google, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, you name it. You don't need any, it's implemented in every browser, so you don't need any software at all. It's gonna just work. And because of the new protocol, the FIDO2, you have some novelty, such as the passwordless login. So if you have, for example, an Outlook.com email, you can try that as well. So it's based on public key encryption. And more specifically, the protocol is made of two pieces. One is WebO10 that you may have heard of. And this is the protocol that the website implements to talk to the browser. And the second part is the CTAP2, the client to authenticator protocol. And that's, in fact, what we implemented. And so we are the first, and to our knowledge, the only implementation open source of the CTAP2. So what happened? Probably you can have one with Interceptor. And here is what you would see, right? So what happens when you press the button? So there is a challenge protocol and a digital signature. And what I want to point out is that the browser is adding to the digital signature to the payload the host name of the site. And because of that, you get protection against phishing. So your signature can only be used on the site you are visiting right now. Another question I got was, how many sites can I use in a single key? And the answer is essentially unlimited, because there is no private key stored on the device. The private key for the digital signature is generated on the fly during the protocol. So unlimited website, and most importantly for privacy, there is no listing of or enumeration of the site you have connected on the key. If you, as I mentioned, everything is open source. You can see the instructions are pretty short. Just clone the repo. You can compile the code and upload the code. And so the key that you received works right away, but if you don't trust our flashing, you can redo it. And a couple more details. So unfortunately, the key you have is USB only, but we also have an NFC version. It's actually pretty cool. We have a 2-layer PCB, and on the back, we have the antenna. And so if you see yours, you'll see the antenna because we are actually reusing the same PCB on both. So it's pretty cool, I think. And this is our roadmap. I encourage you to participate in any way. But so we are looking now at OpenPGP and SSH. We are going to add Edward Curve very soon. And then, of course, we are going to start looking into physical security. That's sort of our new design. We just published a blog post about that. So in summary, FIDO2 security key, so go try to use it. That's going to make all your account very secure and trustworthy, hopefully, and it's open source. So let us know, don't be shy, reach out to me, and stay in contact. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one is Mathieu Revin, who is going to talk about CHES 2019 Challenge. Yes, just click it. Yep, click it. you click on it.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm gonna give a restitution of this year CHES challenge. So first, a little bit of background about CHES challenge. So this is the 5th edition of the challenge. It started in 2015. The first edition was some kind of crypto engineering CTF challenge. Then we had some para-analysis and secure implementation challenge. 2 years ago, this was the first edition of the Whitebox Contest. I'm going to tell what the Whitebox Contest is in a minute. Last year, we had some deep learning-based side channel attack contest. And so this year, it was the 2nd edition of the Whitebox Contest. So it was organized by CyberCrypt and crypto experts. And for next year, we are looking for candidates to organize the CHES challenge. So if you're interested, if you have any idea of what could be proposed, then you can come to see me or contact me by email. So first, a little bit of background of Whitebox cryptography. So the Whitebox Contest is related to Whitebox cryptography. So the goal of Whitebox cryptography is to turn regular crypto implementation, so for instance for an encryption, into a program which is an obfuscated implementation with a hard-coded key inside it and working on encoded data so that it should be difficult for an adversary that has full access to the implementation, that can read the memory, try to let's see all the intermediate variables. It should be hard to extract the secret key. So the goal of the Whitebox Contest is to confront designers. I was expecting the question. So of course, it's because of the sunny weather in this room. So back to boring stuff. So the goal of the Whitebox Contest is to confront designers and attackers of practical Whitebox crypto. So the basic idea is that designers can develop a Whitebox crypto implementation of the AES under the form of a source code file, embedded secret key, and submit it to the server. Then a participant attacker can try to recover the secret key, download the implementation from the server, and try to break it to recover the secret key, and submit it to the server. And if it's the correct secret key, then the server acknowledges the break. And we have a few limitations on the Whitebox implementation. So it should be a C source code file, and the source code should be at most 50 megabytes. Then the compile executable should be at most 20 megabytes. It should use at most 20 megabytes of RAM and run it in at most 1 second. So the score system is a bit involved. So the principle is that no binary submissions, no, only source code. So it should, an implementation gets some strawberry points as long as it stays unbroken. So at times t, an implementation works this formula. So the idea is that the time while being unbroken is squared and multiplied by a coefficient alpha, and the coefficient depend on the performances of the implementation. Then when an implementation worthing n strawberry points gets broken, the designer of the implementation gets n strawberry points with a max rule. Then the attacker scores n banana points, and the strawberry score of the implementation starts to decrease symmetrically down to 0. So it's a kind of fight between strawberries and bananas. Yes, that's why. So we have some news in edition 2. So the performance factor has been introduced. Before it wasn't there. It depends on the running time, the code size, and the RAM consumption of the implementation. We also introduced some bonus points, the carrot points, to reward the inversion, so the attacker can try to invert the whitebox implementation, meaning that from some challenge plain text, ciphertext, they can try to decrypt, which might not be possible without the key. We have an improved time granularity. We support 32-bit and 64-bit instructions, which wasn't the case in the first challenge. And there is 2 compiler options, GCC and TCC. So this is a recall of the results of edition 1. So almost everything was broken before August, whereas the challenge started in May. We had all the first submissions were really easily broken. Then we had a few implementations that survived around 10 days in August, I believe. The winner survived 29 days, but in the end, everything was broken. So now the results of this edition. So we had a few resisting implementation in early stages. Well, resisting means it resists a few days, sometimes 2 weeks. We had many submissions right before the deadline. The deadline was on 31st July. And in the end, we had 3 implementations which are still unbroken. So it's a little bit of hope in the designer side. So now the scoreboard, so the strawberry scoreboard. So we have outstanding winners. The 3 unbroken implementations are by CryptoLux, who are Alex Beryukov and Alexei Udovenko from University of Luxembourg. I think we can applaud them. Even thank you for them. They're not here, but I'll tell them that. We have a second place on the Strawberry scoreboard by White Mountain, but it's still anonymous. And the third position, I cannot pronounce the username, but it's Stefan Koshi. Then for the banana scoreboard, for the attacker side, the winner also is CryptoLux, Alex and Alexei, by breaking the second implementation, the White Mountain implementations. And all the other ones are still anonymous, but they obtained their score by breaking top 3 or 4 implementations. And this is the carrot scoreboard, so for the inversion. And so it's pretty similar to the banana scoreboard, and that's because each challenge inversion follows a complete break. So no one decrypted some challenge ciphertext without fully breaking the implementation. Okay, so just some final notes. So once again, I would like to congratulate Alex Beryukov and Alexei Udovenko for the double win in the designer side and attacker side. Also a special thanks to Stefan Kobel from Cybercrypt and Junwei Wang from CryptoExpert for updating and administrating the server. All the submitted implementations are available online, so you can check and have a look and try to break them if you like. You can try to break the CryptoLux standing challenges. So if you break them, you can send the key to Alexei and Alex, and they will maintain some web page to acknowledge the break. Word of Fame will soon be available on the challenge webpage. And if you have any suggestion for next edition, you can contact the organizing committee through the Slack forum. We also have an email address if you want to send a private message. That's all. Thanks.
And our next speaker is going to be Ilya Polyan, who's going to talk about nano-security from nano-electronics to secure systems, and then wrap it up with some announcements. So the floor is yours, and the clicker is somewhere there. Assuming Matthew didn't take it with you. Matthew, did you take the clicker?
Where do I?
This.
Here.
If you click it, it works better.
Okay, thanks. So we have some good news from Germany. We have a large-scale program for research funding approved just recently in this year. It is what is called a priority program by DFG, the Germany's equivalent for NSF. It's a... We'll see. So, who are we? A couple of people whom you know, also actually a lady from nanoelectronics domain, from material science doing memristors. And so there will be a call for, or there is already out a call for proposals, which is a national call for German universities and things like Max Planck Institutes and Fraunhofer Institute and the like, which will have a deadline in a couple of weeks. So some people may be occupied and not doing what they usually do during CHES because they need to complete those proposals. What are we trying to achieve is to see on one hand how the transition to nanoelectronics endangers security, on the other hand how nanoelectronics can be useful in helping the securities, so all these new architectures and all these new devices and so on, which are going to come up. And this is how this thing is going to be organized. There will be 3 areas, roughly organized in abstraction levels. So there will be an area on system architecture level, which our friends from, yes, very complicated, but we should be up to the challenge, where people working on architecture and so on. Who put the headers on this page? I don't know who put them, not me. And yeah, okay, so whoever put it answered. Then people who are doing security cryptography, which is more or less the community here. And the idea is to integrate into this people who are doing actual nanoelectronic actual devices and so on and so forth. Yeah, and the idea is that this all will be a collaboration with folks on high level, okay, 404, not found, with folks on higher level telling the device guys what they need to construct those puffs and those crypto implementations and whatever else. And these people would say what they can do and how much this is useful for the other one. What? Alexa, by Greenland. Yes. Good idea. You don't even want to see the prize? So yeah, there will be also some special interest groups within this thing, some more focusing on RNG and puff and those kind of things. Okay, puff, puff, pass. And some on isolation and so on, and some on physical attacks, transdisciplinarity, cyber. Good. Yes, now probably what the first comment writer meant is what happens if you are kind of not directly eligible for this one? Is it relevant for you? I think yes, because here comes the warning. We hope that there will be kind of new research topics and new people entering from other areas to these areas. You will be in, yeah, this is the plan, yes. And yeah, so please support us. I see people do already. And there is even a website which to some extent works. Good. That's actually what I had. And the next one is also by me. So let me just do this one as long as we are all Germany. Also, just a reminder about a few deadlines. You probably all knew about the deadline for date. There will be 2 tracks which have to do with hardware-oriented security. This is the deadline. Test, and so this word I don't know. Yeah, the conference will be then in March. Then there also will be European Test Symposium, which as the name says is more about testing, but it also includes hardware security. Yes, of course. It's as German deadline as any other, will perhaps be extended by 7 days. And then there is even a German test workshop, which we organize close to my place. And it's also a historically testing conference, but also now it includes hardware-oriented security as well. There is lots of industry. Deadline is never dead. This is good that people are... So given that so many people are interested in German things, I think this one is good for you. And you should consider attending and hear papers on or talks on security and on testing, in some of them in German language, in a place very close to my place. So quantum cyber blockchain will also be. Where is Stuttgart? Stuttgart is, or Atlanta is the. People ask, why is CHES in Atlanta? Atlanta is the only place in America from where there is a direct flight from Stuttgart. Yeah. So. And yeah, don't forget AI. We never forget AI. To Germany. Yes, good idea. So that's what I had. Okay. And yeah, we'll be happy to.
Okay. So our next speaker is Wei Dai, who's going to talk about Microsoft's private AI Bootcamp. And as famously spoken by the last speaker, we never forget AI.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm Wei Dai from Microsoft Research. This is our group, the boss, Christine, and others. So what we do is homomorphic encryption, and we have the open source library, Microsoft Seal. I don't see any developers from the other libraries, so I guess we just have the best library. We also have this private, so we also have this private GPU FPGA acceleration. And we have some compiler for that and neural network based on homomorphic encryption. We also do secure MPC and other machine learning based. Yeah, actually, we do open source a lot right now. We just bought GitHub. And so here comes the good news. So Microsoft would like to offer 30 PhD students to come to Microsoft Research for a 3-day training on privacy-preserving machine learning. We focus on homomorphic encryption and machine learning tests, building applications, services, and how to use Microsoft's CO library. The thing is, since we have a limited budget, we have to only limit the slots to 30 students, and we only accept students from North America due to the budget. But I guess if you're from Europe or other parts, if you pay for your own flight, I think it works. So we welcome all the students from any background related to security, cryptography, or machine learning. And the lectures will be, yeah. I mean, if you leave America. So, what is a thick student? Yeah. So the expense will be covered by Microsoft, for sure. And the lectures will be offered by research from our group and the Microsoft Research. We would like you to apply by this deadline since we have the limited stock. And if you want, you can share it with your colleagues or your students. And the event will be in December to the 4th. Make sure your schedule is clear. And if you have more questions, just approach me, ask me. Thank you.
So the next one is Martin Novotny, who wants to talk about CARDIS 2019 in Prague. Martin? Run, Martin.
Okay.
There is a clicker, you want to use it. It's right here.
It's right here, okay. Yes. So, good evening. My name is Martin Novotny, and I would like to invite you to Prague, to CARDIS, which will be held in November 11, 13, or between 11 and 13, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the CARDIS conference will be held by the Charles Bridge in this building. So if you come to CARDIS, Prague has good connections from Germany as well, and not only from Germany. Unfortunately, CARDIS is overlapping with CCS, but CCS is held in London. And remember that London is in UK, and in those days it will be already after Brexit. So if you are heading to CCS, and if you are for some reason diverted from London because just you don't have visa or so, then you can continue to Prague. It's also not only close to Germany, it is close to England also. So in this building that you see here, there will be CARDIS, and from this building there is a very nice view to Charles Bridge and the panorama of Prague Castle. So hopefully we will meet in Prague in November. And do you have the video? Can you play it now?
So this is completely untested.
Okay.
But let's see if we can get this to work.
Yes, that's pretty place, definitely. And the cheap beer, definitely, yes. And there is no music?
Well, there is music. Maybe if I plug this here, I have no idea what this does.
No music. Still.
We're gonna hit the highs. When the clock strikes midnight, we don't stop till daylight. So banish your blues, or polish your shoes. We're gonna hit the highs. But I lose my head, feel my body sway when I hear that Creole music start to play. Gotta find that feeling when your mind starts reeling. Ready to blow, raring to go, we're gonna hit the highs. Hit it, boys! I go real dizzy and I lose control when I feel that rhythm burning in my soul. I said, come and get it, 'cause you won't regret it. Follow the drum, get out of the slum, we're gonna hit the highs. I said, follow the drum, get out of the slum, head for the neon lights. We're gonna hit the highs. Gonna hit the highs.
All right. Now, that concludes the first part of the Rump session. And for those of you who have carefully checked the program, we will restart at 9:05, so in slightly less than 20 minutes. So now that you've all seen this nice beer come out of the tap, I'm sure you're thirsty, so it's a good moment to get some more drinks to be ready.